You love your dog, you feed them, play with them, and take them on walks. But are you sure you're caring for them the right way? A major study from Bristol University found that over 70% of dog owners make at least one serious mistake without knowing it. Simple actions like pulling the leash, yelling, or even petting the wrong way can harm both health and trust. In today's video, we'll count down 9 mistakes most owners make and how to fix them. And watch closely for mistake number 3, 99% of owners unknowingly do it. So let's start with the mistake number 9, bathing your dog. Too often. You probably think the more you bathe your dog, the cleaner and healthier they'll be. It sounds logical, right? After all, that's what we humans do. But here's the twist. What works for us can actually harm our dogs. Many owners don't realize that frequent bathing strips away the natural oils that protect their dog's skin and coat. Without this invisible shield, their skin becomes dry, itchy, and more vulnerable to infections. The shine in their fur gone. The comfort they once had replaced by irritation. Imagine this: you step into the shower every day, but instead of feeling refreshed, your skin grows rough and cracks over time. That's exactly what's happening to many dogs whose owners bathe them too often, even with the best intentions. Veterinary dermatologists have shown that dogs need these natural oils as their first line of defense. A study in the Journal of Veterinary Dermatology found that overbathing significantly increases the risk of dermatitis and fungal infections in companion dogs, especially when harsh shampoos are used. For breeds with sensitive skin, the problem can show up as redness, scratching, or even painful sores. So how often should you bathe your dog? The answer is not as much as possible. For most breeds, once every 4 to 6 weeks is more than enough. If your dog gets muddy after a walk, a simple wipe with a damp cloth is all they need. And when you do bathe them, choose a gentle, dog-specific shampoo, never the one you use for yourself. Now here's the real surprise. Some owners think a strong fragrance means their dog is cleaner. But the truth is, many scented shampoos only irritate the skin further. Your dog doesn't need perfume. They need balance. So the next time you feel tempted to bathe your dog again, just because they've been outside, remember this: too much cleaning can actually make them less healthy. And if you've already been overbathing, don't worry, small changes can restore their skin's natural protection. But bathing is just the beginning. If you think pulling on the leash is harmless, wait until you discover what it really does to your dog's body. That's mistake number 8, and it might shock you even more. Mistake number 8, pulling on the leash. Think back to the last time you walked your dog. They pulled forward, excited by the world, and without thinking, you gave the leash a sharp tug. Harmless, right? Just a way to keep control. But here's the truth that most owners never realize: every pull can feel like a chokehold. Imagine someone yanking a rope around your neck without warning. The shock, the pain, the struggle to breathe. That's what your dog feels every single time. It's not just about discomfort. Veterinary studies show that repeated leash pulling can injure the trachea, compress blood vessels, and strain the cervical spine. In smaller breeds like pugs, chihuahuas, or toy poodles, the risk is even greater. A collapsed trachea doesn't just mean coughing, it can mean lifelong breathing difficulties or even surgery that never fully restores comfort. And for larger dogs, constant pressure builds up joint stress that can lead to early arthritis. But the physical harm is only half the story. Dogs learn by association. When the leash becomes a symbol of pain, walks, the happiest part of their day, turn into a source of fear. Some dogs grow anxious the moment they see the leash in your hand. Others become aggressive, fighting against the very thing meant to guide them. Have you ever noticed hesitation, or even resistance when you try to take your dog out. That's not stubbornness. That's fear speaking. The good news is, this cycle can be broken. Switch from a collar to a harness that spreads pressure across the chest. If your dog pulls, stop walking instead of yanking. Reward them the moment they adjust, and walk calmly. Over time, they'll learn that moving in sync with you brings comfort, not pain. It might feel like a small adjustment, but the difference is enormous. Your dog will walk with you not out of fear, but out of trust. And that trust is what deepens the bond between you. But leash pulling isn't the only hidden source of stress. Sometimes the damage happens not outside on the street, but right inside your home in the quiet moments when your dog is resting. That's mistake number 7, and it's one that can startle your dog in ways you never imagined. Mistake number 7. Waking your dog up. Suddenly, picture this. Your dog is curled up, breathing softly, lost in a deep sleep. You reach down, give them a sudden pat, and they jolt awake, startled. It seems harmless, maybe even funny. But to your dog, that sudden awakening can feel like a shock to the system. Just like us dogs cycle through light sleep and deep restorative sleep. When you break that cycle abruptly, you don't just interrupt their rest, you trigger fear. Think about it. Have you ever been shaken awake in the middle of a dream? Your heart races, your body tenses, and for a moment, you don't even know where you are. Dogs experience the same disorientation, except they can't rationalize it. They react with instinct. Some may jump, others may growl. And older dogs, especially those with fading hearing or eyesight, may snap out of pure confusion. Research in veterinary behavior journals has shown that dogs woken abruptly are more prone to stress-related reactions, from increased anxiety to defensive aggression. And over time, these moments chip away at their sense of safety in the very place they should feel most secure, their home. It's not just about behavior. Older dogs rely heavily on sleep to manage pain, regulate their metabolism, and maintain memory. By startling them awake, you're stealing from them one of the most vital tools for healthy aging. A dog that feels unsafe in sleep may also avoid resting near you, thinking they must guard themselves even in moments of vulnerability. So what should you do? Instead, the answer is simple. Wake them gently. Call their name softly from a distance. Make a small sound they recognize, or let natural movement like walking nearby stir them awake slowly. This tiny change gives your dog the chance to rise calmly, knowing they are safe. Because here's the truth. Trust is built not only in play and care, but also in respect for their most vulnerable moments. And yet, there's another way we often betray that trust without realizing it. Not when they're asleep, but when they're right in our arms. That's mistake number 6, and it may shock you how something as loving as a hug can feel like a prison. Mistake number 6. Hugging your dog too tightly. We humans see hugs as the ultimate sign of love. So naturally, when we look at our dogs, soft, warm, irresistible, we pull them close, holding on tight. But here's the truth that surprises many owners. Most dogs don't like being hugged the way we do. What feels like affection to you can feel like restraint to them. Think of it from your dog's perspective. They value freedom of movement above all else. When you wrap your arms around them tightly, they don't feel loved, they feel trapped. Their body stiffens, their eyes dart, they lick their lips, or even yawn. These are all subtle cries for space, but too often we miss them. Some dogs freeze in fear, while others struggle to escape or snap in self-defense. Behaviorists at the American Veterinary Society have long noted that forced physical restraint increases stress hormones in dogs. In fact, A widely shared study analyzing photographs of children hugging dogs found that the majority of dogs displayed at least one visible sign of discomfort. That means what looks like a sweet family moment could actually be a stressful one for your pet. This doesn't mean your dog doesn't love you. It simply means their way of showing affection is different. A dog that leans against your leg rests their head on your lap, or nudges your hand is giving you the canine version of a hug. By letting them choose when and how they want closeness, you build trust instead of fear. So the next time you feel the urge to scoop up your dog in a bear hug, pause and watch their signals. If they melt into you willingly, it's genuine affection. If they tense or turn away, give them space. Respect earns a bond deeper than any forced embrace. But here's where it gets even trickier. Hugs aren't the only way we accidentally dismiss our dog's emotions. Sometimes it happens when they're trembling in fear, and instead of helping, we laugh it off. That's mistake number 5, and it reveals just how often we ignore what our dogs are really trying to tell us. Mistake number 5. Ignoring their fears. Have you ever seen your dog cower at the sound of thunder, shy away from the vacuum cleaner, or freeze at the sight of a harmless object in the house? To us, it might look amusing. Some owners even chuckle, move the vacuum closer, or clap loudly just to watch the reaction. But here's the hard truth. What feels like a joke to us is real fear for them. And every time we dismiss it, we teach our dogs one painful lesson that they can't count on us when they're scared. Dogs don't understand that thunder won't hurt them, or that the vacuum is just a machine. Their brains are wired for survival. When something startles them, their body floods with stress hormones like cortisol. Heart-pounding muscles tense, they're preparing to fight or flee. Now imagine instead of comfort, the very person they trust most laughs, or even fuels that fear. Over time, this chips away at their sense of safety, and they may start withdrawing or lashing out. Behaviorists warn that repeated exposure without support can create chronic anxiety. Some dogs hide at the first sign of bad weather, others bark excessively, and a few may even grow aggressive, believing they must defend themselves because no one else will. What seems like just nerves can spiral into lasting psychological harm. So what should you do instead? The answer is compassion and patience. If your dog is frightened, let them approach the scary object at their own pace. Pair it with treats and gentle praise, turning fear into curiosity. During storms, create a safe space, a quiet corner, soft music, or a familiar blanket. The message you want to send is simple. You are safe, and I'm here. Because for a dog, trust isn't built in play alone. It's built in the moments when they're most vulnerable, and you choose to protect rather than dismiss. But here's another moment many owners mishandle, not with fear, but with something as simple as food and toys. Taking them away too suddenly may seem harmless, even like discipline. In reality, it sparks a primal response that can change your dog's behavior for life. That's mistake number 4, and it may shock you. Mistake number 4. Taking away food or toys suddenly. Picture this. Your dog is chewing on their favorite toy, or enjoying a meal, and you suddenly snatch it away. Maybe you're testing their reaction. Maybe you're trying to show control. At first glance, it feels harmless. But from your dog's point of view, it's the equivalent of someone grabbing a plate from your hands mid-dinner. Frustrating, unfair, and over time, deeply stressful. Dogs see food and toys not just as possessions, but as survival resources. When these are taken away without warning, it sparks insecurity. That insecurity can quickly turn into resource, guarding a natural instinct where the dog protects what they value. You may notice growling when you approach their bowl-stiff posture, when they have a toy, or even a snap if they feel threatened. This isn't greed. It's fear of losing what they need. Behaviorists warn that repeated sudden removals increase guarding behaviors. Studies in applied animal behavior have shown that dogs raised with constant takeaway discipline are far more likely to develop defensive aggression. And here's the irony: the more often you grab things from your dog, the more likely they are to fight you for them in the future. So how do you fix this replace fear with trust? If you need to take a toy away, offer a treat and ask them to drop it, then give the toy back. Over time, they'll learn that letting go doesn't mean losing forever. The same goes for food. Don't clear the bowl while they're still eating. Wait until they finish, call them away gently, and then remove it. This teaches them that their meals are safe and you're not a threat. A dog that trusts their food and toys are secure is calmer, happier, and less likely to lash out. It's not about dominance, it's about respect. But food and toys aren't the only flashpoints where frustration runs high. Sometimes it's our own voices that do the most damage. Almost every owner has done it, but few realize the harm it causes. That's mistake number 3, and research shows an overwhelming 99% of dog owners are guilty of it. Mistake number 3, yelling at your dog. You've probably been there. Your dog chews the leg of a chair, barks non-stop, or ignores your command, and out of frustration, you raise your voice. Maybe you shout their name. Maybe you scold them with harsh words. It feels natural, almost automatic. But here's the shocking truth: 99% of dog owners have done this, and almost none realize the damage it causes. Dogs don't process yelling the way we think they do. They don't link your anger to the chewed shoe or the barking from 5 minutes ago. All they register in the moment is your loud, negative energy. Imagine dropping a glass by accident, and minutes later, someone storms in and yells at you without explaining why. You'd feel confused, maybe scared, maybe even resentful. That's exactly how your dog feels. Behaviorists warn that repeated scolding builds fear instead of learning. Dogs that are yelled at often become timid, avoiding eye contact, shrinking away, or even trembling when their owner approaches. Some respond the opposite way, barking back or growling as a defense mechanism. In both cases, the bond of trust between you and your dog weakens. Instead of seeing you as a safe guide, they see you as a source of unpredictable stress. Science backs this up. A study published in Scientific Reports in 2019 found that dogs trained with aversive methods like yelling showed significantly higher cortisol levels, a marker of stress, compared to dogs trained with reward-based methods. In the long term, this doesn't just harm behavior. It erodes your dog's joy and can even contribute to anxiety disorders. So what's the alternative? Replace yelling with calm correction. Use a firm but even tone guide them toward the behavior you want, and praise them immediately when they get it right. If they chew a shoe, redirect them to a toy. If they bark excessively, reward silence instead of punishing noise. Dogs learn best not through fear, but through clarity and consistency. And here's the most heartbreaking part: yelling often hides the real problem. Sometimes what looks like disobedience is actually your dog struggling with something deeper, like the aches and changes of aging that we too often ignore. That's mistake number 2, and it's one that silently steals joy from senior dogs everywhere. Mistake number 2: not recognizing aging signs. One day your dog isn't running to the door like they used to. Their steps are slower, their naps are longer, and their spark seems dimmer. Many owners shrug it off, thinking he's just being lazy or she's stubborn now. But here's the truth: these aren't signs of laziness. They're the quiet signals of aging signals too many owners fail to see until it's too late. Dogs age faster than we do. What looks like a small slowdown may actually be arthritis in the joints, spinal pain, or hidden stiffness that makes every step harder. Because dogs rarely cry out in pain, we miss it. Instead, we see hesitation, reluctance, or withdrawal. And when we mislabel that as bad behavior, our dogs suffer in silence. Older dogs also face fading senses. Maybe your once alert companion doesn't come when you call. Maybe they startle when someone approaches. It's not defiance, it's declining hearing or vision. Imagine the confusion of living in a world where sounds fade and shadows blur, all while the people you trust expect you to act the same. Without patience and understanding, these dogs don't just lose comfort, they lose connection. Veterinary research highlights how common this is. Studies estimate that up to 80% of senior dogs over the age of 8 experience some form of joint disease, yet only a fraction receive proper management. Others struggle with canine cognitive decline, the equivalent of dementia, which slowly erodes memory and mood. And the saddest part, many owners mistake these conditions for just getting old instead of treating them. The good news is small changes make a world of difference. Softer bedding to cushion aching joints. Shorter, more frequent walks instead of long treks. A diet balanced for seniors. And most importantly, more time sitting with them, speaking gently, letting them feel your presence. For a senior dog, these adjustments aren't luxuries. They're lifelines. Because at the end of the day, your dog doesn't measure life by years, but by moments with you. Recognizing their age isn't about mourning what's lost, it's about giving them comfort in the time they have left. But even when we care deeply, there's another mistake we almost all make. Not in how we treat their bodies, but in how we speak to their minds. That's mistake number 1. And it may surprise you how something as simple as words can confuse your dog more than you think. Mistake number 1. Talking in long sentences. We all do it. You walk into the room, see your dog on the couch, and say something like, "Didn't I tell you not to jump up there when I'm gone?" Or maybe when they're barking, you scold. Come on, stop making such a fuss. There's nothing out there. It feels natural, like you're reasoning with them, almost as if they're human. But here's the surprising truth. Dogs don't understand long sentences. To them, it's just noise broken into a few familiar sounds. Dogs live in the moment. Their brains aren't wired to connect strings of words into past or future actions. What they catch are short cues: sit, stay, no, come. When we pile on too many words, their focus breaks. Instead of clarity, they get confusion. And confusion doesn't teach, it frustrates both you and your dog. Imagine being in a foreign country where you only know a handful of words. Someone lectures you in long sentences. You catch 1 or 2 familiar sounds, but the rest washes over you. That's your dog every time you speak in paragraphs instead of commands. Studies on canine cognition confirm this. Research from the University of Sussex found that dogs respond best to clear, consistent single-word cues paired with tone of voice. Long emotional sentences reduce comprehension and weaken training results. It's not that your dog isn't listening, it's that you're asking them to process language in a way their brain simply can't. So what should you do? Keep it short, simple, and consistent. Swap. I told you not to take food off the table for just leave it. Instead of stop barking at the window, there's no one there, say quiet. And when they listen, reward them immediately. Over time, they'll link those sharp, clear cues to actions, and training becomes not only easier, but more enjoyable for both of you. And with that, we close our countdown of the 9 most common mistakes dog owners make. If you've recognized yourself in one or more of these, don't worry. Awareness is the first step to change. Your dog doesn't need perfection. They need patience, love, and small, thoughtful adjustments that make their world safer and happier. So, tell me which of these mistakes surprised you the most. share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next tip that could change your dog's life. We started this journey with a simple question: are you really caring for your dog the right way? Along the way, we uncovered 9 mistakes, some small, some serious, that almost every owner makes without realizing it. From pulling too hard on the leash to yelling in frustration to missing the quiet signs of aging, each mistake carried the same message. Love alone isn't always enough. What our dogs need is understanding. And here's the beautiful part: it's never too late to change. Every walk, every meal, every quiet moment at home is a new chance to show your dog not just love, but the kind of care that keeps them truly happy and healthy. Whether they're bounding with puppy energy or slowing down with age, your dog only asks for one thing: that you try to see the world through their eyes. If one of these mistakes felt familiar, don't carry guilt. Carry hope. Because the moment you notice, you can begin to do better. And your dog, loyal as ever, will notice right away. Their trust grows, their joy returns, and the bond you share only deepens. So if this video helped you understand your dog a little better, imagine what the next one could do. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss the tips, stories, and science that can make life richer for you and your best friend. Together, we can make sure no dog has to suffer from mistakes that can so easily be avoided. Because at the end of the day, your dog doesn't just need you to be their owner. They need you to be their safe place, their guide, and their family.